The grim tally is now hitting record highs. El Salvador recorded more murders in March than in any other month during the past decade, as gangland violence and drug trafficking continued to ravage the nation of 6 million. Citing figures from the country's National Civil Police, PNC, the newspaper La Prensa Gráfica reports that at least 481 people were murdered in March, or almost 16 a day. The figure represents a 52% increase from the same period last year. The Central American nation has been rocked by renewed bouts of violence after a 2-year truce between notorious gangs MS-13 and Barrio 18 collapsed last year. Following the end of the ceasefire, the country's security forces have taken a harder line with gang members and drug traffickers. In January, the director of El Salvador's PNC said law enforcement officials had the right to shoot suspected criminals with complete confidence. There is an institution that backs us. There is a government that supports us, Mauricio Ramirez Landaverde told reporters during a press conference. Nearly 40 police officers were killed in the line of duty last year. However, analysts say police deaths in 2015 will surpass that figure. For a few days in May, Jim Parsons will be 3 distinct things at once: a lovable physics nerd, a lovable alien and a lovable god. The 8th season of The Big Bang Theory comes to a close on May 7th. 2 days before that, Parsons will step onto the Broadway stage to play the Almighty in An Act of God, which runs for 13 weeks. If you're feeling extra ambitious, make that a triple header with Home. Currently in theaters, DreamWorks' animated movie, in which a teenager, voiced by Rihanna, helps Parsons' lonely extraterrestrial, named Oh, Adjust to Life on Earth, debuted at number 1 after opening on March 27. That doesn't leave the 42-year-old actor with much blank space on his calendar, but somewhere in there he'll need to squeeze in an Emmy campaign, in hopes of collecting his 5th statue for portraying Sheldon Cooper. HuffPost Entertainment caught up with Parsons in between the avalanche to ask how he balances it all. Memorizing all the science jargon Sheldon says on The Big Bang Theory can't be easy. And now you have all this biblical talk to learn, too. Does it become overwhelming? It's a funny thing. I have a couple more episodes to shoot, and then in the past 2 months I've been doing all this press for the animated movie Home. Every moment I have a chance to drink coffee in the morning or a moment to read, I'm like, you should probably run some lines. You should run, the 9th commandment or whatever. So these weird quotes and these weird phrasings just run through my head, thou art and thou shalt and things like that. It's a weird place where one might need therapy afterwards. It can be tough to deal with the Sheldon stuff, some more than others. I will say the blessing of the television show is that you only have to know it once and you can take a few takes to do it. The frightening part, and the invigorating part, but frightening before you do it part, of theater is that it's one night and one night only as far as that crowd witnessing the story that night. But certainly a television show and doing 24 episodes in 9 months, you have 5 days with each one and you're just never, ever going to know it at that level that you can know something you're doing at the theater. You can probably get by without fully understanding everything Sheldon is saying, but is reading the Bible part of your God preparations? Well, with the Sheldon stuff, the science stuff, the strongest part of my research would be just learning to pronounce things, and secondarily I do always make a passing effort at trying to figure out what the hell this might represent. But there are times that it is literally gibberish to me and I just hope I'm putting my inflection in a place that makes it sound sort of like I know what I'm talking about. The God stuff is actually a lot easier to understand. You may not want to always, but it really seems to be easier. Partly because I took a lot more God, if you will, than I took science in my lifetime because I was raised going to church every Sunday. So we don't touch on anything in this play that is unfamiliar to me. In fact, I think it's been more about touching on things where I go, I haven't thought about that in a long time. Old stories from the Bible come up. So in that way, no. The biggest thing I've done so far is make sure I have really strict in my head the precise definitions of omnipotent, omniscient and omnipresent because they come up several times and every once in a while, when I'm running through all these lines, I'm like, wait, which one of the O's is this? and it helps to remember exactly what each of those is. I mean, I know what they are, but every once in a while you're like, shit, is it omnipresent or omniscient right now? Context is everything.